Hey there. Before we get started, I just wanted to come on and ask you all a favor. In our research, we've discovered that the vast majority of you do not actually like and subscribe to our podcast. And so, if I could ask you to do so, I won't ask you for anything else. And I promise to make this podcast the best I can every day. Me and the team really strive to do that for you. And so, if you could do this for us, we would be eternally grateful. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Mickelle Weber, founder and auteur of House of Peregrine. Expat, immigrant, pioneer, none of these were a fit, but Peregrine describes what we are all about perfectly. Those that craft their life story with intention. I've spent the last 6 years in awe of the life-changing connections and stories I have experienced while living abroad, and believe it is time for this adventure to be recognized, celebrated, and elevated to the life stage that it is. Through these interviews, I hope to connect those living internationally more deeply to both the place they are living and with themselves and those around them. We cover everything from international finances and meaning-making to global parenting and relationships to make your time abroad more intentional, edifying, and full of beauty. Find us at houseofperegrine.com, where you can find more ways to connect with the ethos of Peregrine. I hope you enjoy today's guest. Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the House of Peregrine podcast. I'm Mickelle Weber, and today I'm resharing a conversation that originally aired on Radiant and Regulated with Alicia Inspired. If you've been listening to the podcast recently, you might remember Alicia from her episode that we did together here on the House of Peregrine podcast, where we talked about basic nervous system care, how to recognize early signs of burnout, and she shared her story about her own burnout that many of you might recognize. That conversation struck a chord with so many of you, and I think this one might too. This time, Alicia invited me onto her podcast, and we had an incredibly heartfelt and honest conversation about why I started House of Peregrine, the tension between ambition and sensitivity, and how to keep growing as a woman CEO without burning out. We talked about building a creative business rooted in belonging and feminine principles, what it means to live far from where you started, and how to be a woman, a CEO, and live with connection and intention while still really thriving and succeeding. I'm really grateful for the space that Alicia was able to hold in the conversation and the honesty that I was able to actually come to the conversation with. And so I'm really excited to share it here with you. It's one of my favorite conversations I've ever had on air to date. So if you enjoy what you hear, I definitely encourage you to check out more of Alicia's work on Radiant and Regulated. And her work in the world is very important. So I'm excited to have been on her podcast and bring her work to you. All right. I hope you enjoy.
Welcome to Alicia Inspired, the podcast, the place for sensitive, ambitious women who crave success without sacrificing well-being. I'm your host, Alicia. I'm a coach, mentor, speaker, and teacher that combines the wisdom of your body, the power of your mind, and the magic of the mystical to help create a life that you love. Let's do this. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to share today's episode with you, especially if you've ever felt like your ambition and your sensitivity were somehow at odds with each other. Today, I'm joined by the brilliant Mickelle Weber, the founder of House of Peregrine, which is a project that's redefining what it means to live and connect internationally. Today, we're talking about the challenges that come with being a highly sensitive, intuitive woman in leadership and what it takes to grow a business without burning yourself out. If you're a sensitive entrepreneur or you dream of building something impactful, this episode feels like a warm permission slip to do things your way. Let's get into it. So, welcome, Mickelle. I'm so happy that you're here. Would you like to introduce yourself and your business?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. First of all, Alicia, I really am excited to be here with you today and to talk about everything you have going on with your work as well. My name is Mickelle Weber. I'm the founder and CEO of House of Peregrine, which is a platform and co-creating space for international people. We started a few years ago and are now growing our community and platform for people around the world to be able to live globally native lives.
So exciting. I love this so much. What inspired you to start House of Peregrine?
So I was inspired by starting House of Peregrine because I realized there is not an infrastructure for the way I wanted to live life. I felt very much like a global citizen, someone who had more of I just saw the world as my playground a little bit, which is naive and maybe a little bit privileged, but I wanted everyone else to be able to feel that way too. So after I moved abroad, I realized that it just takes a lot of time and energy and there's no culture around it. So it can be kind of lonely, it can be kind of isolating, but also when you meet people from around the world that you have more in common with than you do with the people you grew up with, there's not a better feeling in the world to find that resonance. And so for me, that was the spark that started House of Peregrine. Peregrine means outsider, but it's the fastest bird in the world. So a peregrine falcon can live on any continent of the world, but again, it means outsider. So this feeling that when you move abroad or you live in two different countries or are from multiple countries, you're never actually going to belong to one place ever again. And that creates a very unique group of people that are actually spread out across the world. But when they find each other, like I said, it's magic.
Absolutely. And I can relate to this so much. Being a third culture kid and growing up in different cultures and not really having my own cultural identity, I always find that I connect best with people who have also lived in other countries because there's this sort of shared experience of like, oh, you know what I'm going through. And I love that you've created this community to help support expats essentially, because like you said, there's not really a support. You're kind of just expected, you know, land in a country, once you've got a job, find a house, and then you're good. But there's so many layers that go so much deeper than that in truly finding connection and belonging. And it
Yeah.
also takes a lot of time. Yeah.
It takes a lot of time. It's a muscle you develop, and the people who do it well develop this skill. But what I really was missing was an acknowledgement that this is actually a cultural identity in a way.
Mm.
You're never going to integrate the same way someone who's lived there. You're expected to integrate, which is the goal, but you're never ever going to actually fully integrate in more than one place. And so that notion and that reality is actually hard, but it's also really beautiful. It's just that lack of connection that is missing with other people. So you're not wondering, am I just broken? Why do I
Mm.
feel like I'll never belong? Am I just lazy or do I just have more to do? Because integrating plus living life actually turns out to take a lot of time. And so, yeah, that actual infrastructure, like I keep saying, just isn't present because it's so hidden.
Yeah. And it's so valuable to have a community like this because I know from my experience when I moved to Amsterdam, it was really hard for me to find community and groups of friends because people had grown up together and they were a bit like, oh, yeah, nice, but we have our own friends. We don't really need you. So to find a place where everyone's like, I'll be your friend. I need community. I need friends is
Yeah.
super, super, yeah, it's really valuable.
That's an additional thing that happens when you move to a new country. You're suddenly in that free fall, which is actually a really exciting time where you're looking for connection. But the whole city's not looking for connection. There's just a lot of people who are that don't know how to find each other.
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest internal challenge you've had in growing House of Peregrine?
So I grew up in my early career working in advertising. So I was a freelance film director for 10 years and worked in advertising. And I had all my time to work and develop my skills. Then I worked as an investor for startups and just saw how businesses actually put together in a way that requires all of you all the time. And then I had children. I have 3 children within 5 years and realized I don't have that time to dedicate. I can't build a business the same way someone in their 20s can. But does that really mean that I can't build a business? And so the struggle of it has actually turned into the opportunity, which is the question and the determination and almost like the right I feel like I have to be able to build a business and be a mom and have kids. That should be able to exist. Like I have this deep belief that that will create a better company, and not better in the sense it's better than the others, but there's room in the world for different kinds of businesses. House of Peregrine is one of them. And so that's been the biggest internal challenge is actually having that. I don't even know, like it's like, it's a determination, but like, I just feel like I have the right, and keeping that faith that I have the right to create the same way someone else who can, eat ramen and be on their couch does. Yeah, that's been the hardest internal battle, I think.
Yeah, that's a really powerful viewpoint because a lot of people would use that as an excuse, or not an excuse, but as a limitation, right? I can't build a business, I can't follow my dreams because I have children, I have other responsibilities, and I don't have time. And you've managed to show people that you can have both, like that
Yeah.
it's possible to create. And yeah, we've gotten to know each other pretty well, which is really nice. Like you're very creative, you're very ambitious, but you're also quite a sensitive person. So how have you been able to grow your business without depleting yourself and driving yourself crazy?
I was trying to do mothering a certain way and expatting a certain way and partnering a certain way, but my nervous system is hooked in so deeply to each of those things, and I didn't know it. So when I have 3 children who are also very sensitive, I could feel everything they were going through. People would say, "Oh, you're such an intuitive mother." I'm like, how can you not see that? So without the knowledge of that, I was designing my life in a very, very bad way for my nervous system and taking on challenges that were never going to lead to me being able to be full ever. And so I had to completely redesign from scratch what my strengths are, what my weaknesses are, what my goals are, what my values are, what I want as a mother, and then build a business around that. So it's not having it all, it's having just the right thing.
Mm, that's a really powerful shift to focus on what you value and what's right for you rather than what necessarily they tell you in the business world of what it means to be successful.
Yeah.
And
It's defining success, but it's also defining what satiates you actually. What is actual satisfaction? Because there's a lot of things that people tell you need. And if you go after all those things, you're going to, at least me, I'm going to burn out. But what is the exact right thing I'm craving at just the right time? And I keep forgetting the word I'm looking for. It's the thing we always say men have that we don't, which is like entitlement. It's the entitlement, accepting that I am entitled to build a business. And again, that's a dirty word, but I think women don't take it on enough. Like, I'm entitled to build a business. I'm entitled as a mother to still create. And in a soft way, not in a I deserve this, which I do, and everybody does, but we don't all deserve the same thing. We're not all craving the same thing. There's not just one way. And so that entitlement is what I guess would get me through. And it's entitlement with a small e. I'm entitled to the things that I'm entitled to.
Right. Yeah, exactly. For what's right for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, like we talk about this in the spiritual world as well, that they say whatever it is that you desire is destined for you because that's your desire, and your desire might be different from someone else's desire. And so, exactly what you're saying, that we each have to kind of follow our own path. I'm really curious, what is your version of success now, and has it changed from when you started?
My version of success now. So when I first started, I had to go through, because there were no models, and there still isn't a lot of models of women leading like women
Yeah.
instead of leading like men. So working in the film industry, I was very much emulating how a man would make a film. And I always had these things like, oh, that'd be a really cool thing. And then it'd be like, no. So I really got this message, like, the way you natively would do it is wrong. You have to emulate a man, how a man would do it. And so that was my version of success as well, is what a version of success would be for a man, which is very important, that they have the right to their success and their version of that. And I'm actually really empathetic to that, but that doesn't mean that that looks like for me. So I'm feeling my way through that every day, actually. And so I went from having a full-time nanny to working full-time, trying to get back to working full-time plus, and just felt my way through that. I don't want to do that. Not, I feel guilty not being with my kids. It's all about them. It was like, I don't want that. And it took a long path of being able to say, what I want is best for everybody,
Mm.
and trusting what I want will be best for my entire family. That was a really powerful turn for me. And so following that day by day, moment by moment, and actually year by year, I actually don't know what the end looks like. I'm just trusting myself to be able to feel my way through.
And that will be my journey, because without knowing I want to be like Steven Spielberg, like I don't have a model of someone. I'm creating my own hero or
Mhm.
heroine, if you will.
Yes.
And I know it's not a very satisfying answer, but I've had to accept it.
Yeah. And it's very feminine actually to keep feeling into, because that feminine energy, it moves in cycles and it changes and it evolves. And so to keep checking in with yourself, like, okay, what still feels aligned for me right now? What still feels good? Does this resonate? Is this still what I want? And being able to adjust in that way, I think is really, really powerful. What are some ways that are, would you describe the feminine way of doing it? So like versus doing it like a man, as you said.
I think part of it comes down to knowing that I have that inner masculine
Mm.
that I check in with as well, right? So it's like, House of Peregrine could very easily be a volunteer organization. It's
Mm.
not. It's a for-profit company. And so I think what I'm really grateful for is I've developed that masculine in myself, and now I can rely on it. And so now it's like, how do I take those parameters of knowing what is important to me and my masculine energy, and how do I let my feminine play and do the thing it's supposed to do, which is to feel, to express, to create, while also checking in with my masculine side. And so that trust, developing my feminine, is now my pleasure and my I feel like that's what came from all those years of, I guess, learning that craft of how to exist in a man's world. And now how do I create a woman's world?
Yeah.
Um, and that it's actually probably the pleasure of my life, is to be able to do this part. And so I guess that balance is really, really important to me. And I wish we could do it a different way. I wish we could not have women go through the trenches of a man's world first, but that's been my journey.
Mhm. Yeah. In a way, it's almost learning, okay, how do I not want to do things? This is the way that it works, and how can I bring a new spin to it or do it in my own way?
Did you know that House of Peregrine has an app? It is full of resources, information, and products to make life as an international more connected and more intentional. As a member of House of Peregrine, you also now have access to exclusive discounts, products, guides, and events to make life more fun and connected. Simply download the app at houseofperegrine.com and save it to your home screen. Okay, back to the show. Yeah, for me, it feels very much like I see the banks of the river. Do I want to create a new river? Do I want to go to a different river? Once I land in that river, which is for me this business, how do I play within it? So now it's
Mhm.
all feminine. So it's not how do I not want to do it? It's what do I want to commit my energy to? What
Mhm.
what is going to fit my version of what is important, and then just go crazy in that space.
Yeah.
I'm choosing this, and then I'm
Mhm.
just applying myself to that.
Yeah, that's a much more inspiring and empowering way to approach it. To keep checking in with the desire, right? How do I want to do this?
Yeah, it's an innovative. So I'm a natural innovator. And so it's an innovative way. So how do I innovate in this space that I think is important? It's checks all my boxes. I can relax into this being my problem to solve. And then within those parameters, I get to flow in that. And so it's very much going towards something I have been and still am a very, very big feminist and a believer in this again. Yeah, this word I hate using it, entitlement. But it doesn't have to be against something. We really do have the opportunity to create something new.
So when you make decisions in your business, would you say that they're more strategy led or intuitive or both?
I think I've had to learn my own process. And so I think what it comes from for me is, again, that structure. Like, we need to be profitable. I want us to be profitable. That's what I want. And why do I want to be profitable? So that I can grow, so I can do things the way I do things, which I believe in my heart and my soul that I will be able to provide something different for people who need it. And so that's the very masculine part of me, the provider, right? So
Mhm.
then when we make decisions, it's all based on that. So can it be profitable? Can we build it in a way that's our way? And can we use the knowledge from the business world that's very well been set up by men to use some of those tools or some of those theories? And if not, we need to innovate. And so that's how we make decisions. Is it comes from, are we a business? Yes, we're a business. Do we need to provide for the people that depend on us? Yes. and then we flow and innovate in there. There's no sacredness about where we pull our inspiration. Is it from a man's world? Is it from a, Native American? Like, it's just like very, very after that, after it's been determined that we've taken it on, then it's very much, how can we make this happen in the best way?
Yeah. And that's where the creativity starts to come in.
Creativity, innovation. This is where our values come in. How do we make it peregrine? If we can't make it peregrine, we don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is led by magic, beauty, connection. And then we're a business. Again, we're not a nonprofit. And so that was a very big decision for me, because people always ask me, because I'm a woman and because I'm a creative person, they're like, oh, so you're running a nonprofit? And I'm like, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not running a nonprofit, and not because I don't believe in them, because it's not right for me. I can't support the people and the causes I want to by being a nonprofit.
Yeah. And it's really important to have that clear distinction within yourself with every decision you make, right? For what's right for you. Yeah. Have you always seen yourself as a leader?
I didn't see myself as a leader, but I kept getting put, even from a very young age, into leadership positions. And so leadership finds me, and I tried to fight it for a really long time. And that was one of my journeys, which sounds like not a journey, right? It's almost like this entitlement word. And I think these are journeys that women are taking. And so I feel like I'm being met in that more and more, but it's like, how do I own my entitlement? How do I own my leadership? Because I don't see myself as a particularly strong leader, because I didn't see women leading.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a very patriarchal place where men led, women followed. Even if they were leading, they were following. And so I had to actually accept that my leadership style is valid, even though it doesn't look a certain way.
Yeah, absolutely. And how would you describe your leadership style?
I think it's led by connection, but also I tend to see things in people that they don't see. And again, this is often spun in women as something you shouldn't like, but I see potential in people that they don't often see.
Mm-hmm.
And so bringing people to that first, and then helping them, and not even helping them, they're helping me. I feel like they're helping me more than I'm helping them, but them blossoming thing brings something to me as well. And seeing that that's a synergetic relationship, it's not only important, but it's essential to bring certain types of talents and things to the world.
Yeah, the power of collaboration, essentially, right? We're much stronger together than if we try to do it all ourselves. So I'm curious, how did you start to really embody that type of leadership? How did you start to own that and claim that and be like, actually, yes, I am going to lead. I'm going to lead this business. I'm going to lead this vision.
Well, it's still a day-to-day. So every day someone will say, this is never going to work. But I think what I learned is when you find the right people around you, again, this co-creation, this collaboration, when other people see in you what they need or they can work with, that's a validating process. And once you do it once or twice, you're like, that helps. But then after a while, you get this, and again, I wish this for every woman, is this feeling that you're being supported the way you've seen other leaders who are more, have a different leadership style. You again, that entitlement that you should be supported in your vision comes more easily now, but it took a really long time to recognize that my sensitivity, any neurodivergence I have, anything I'm seeing that others don't, is valid and important. And that, it sounds so sad, but that has been my journey to just, I have the right to exist. I have the right to build and create what I want in the world. It doesn't have to be validated by someone who doesn't have that experience. It's an ongoing journey, but at least I'm not at the beginning of it anymore.
Yeah. And I feel like what you said, this is a journey that so many women have to take. Exactly what you said, that there's just not many examples, and women have always just been taught to follow. I have so many clients that, especially when I go into their human design chart, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of leadership in here. The first reaction is, oh no, I'm not a leader. Oh no, 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 no. And when I ask them, like, why? It's because they've seen examples of leadership that they don't agree with.
Yes.
And they say that feels really unnatural for me to be in that mold. And so it's always this discussion about, okay, but what does leadership look like for you? What do you actually desire from a leader yourself? And how can you share that with other people?
Yeah. And as women, I'm sorry about the noise. We're having a
everyone, we're in the center of Amsterdam, and this is what happens.
They are constantly rebuilding.
We're rebuilding out there while we're rebuilding in here. I think it's really it's in the end, it's beautiful that we're creating our own heroes. We are our own heroine, right? And that it's tiring and it's tragic. And it makes me, it's the tragedy of my life that I have to be my own hero. But I do think that there's something in that I wanted. So if I look at the natural innovator in myself, I probably would have, even if I had 20 heroines that I was looking up to, I probably would have found my own way anyway. So I have to believe it's for a purpose, that even if it's for my own daughters, that's enough purpose for me. The examples we've had are amazing, right? Like, I'm not knocking it. Women who are doing jobs like men, that's amazing. If they want to do that, let them. That's just not what my nervous system and my goals were. But it's also not to be a stay-at-home mom. There's not two options. There's not two options. There's billions of options.
Yeah.
And so that is the most empowering thing I can think of, is you can build it however you want. Of course, it's harder, but what you're building is not a business. What you're building is your hero and a business.
Yeah.
So we're doing more, but bringing that to the world, in my opinion, is the most important thing we can be doing right now. And supporting those women who are doing the job like men, not discounting them, not discounting stay-at-home moms, but like, we have a lot to bring to leadership and to business and to the school and to the world. And so just allowing for that again is part of the paradigm shift.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I also think that leaders who do embody more sensitivity, sensitivity has always been kind of seen as a weakness or something negative. But actually, I'm seeing more and more that that sensitivity is so valuable in leadership, because you're very attuned to what's happening in your team with other people, with how does this feel, this very intuitive. I think people who are sensitive have a lot of value to bring.
Yeah. And the skill of bringing that to bear in business has actually been so I've been on this journey of taking my sensitivity at work, and then I'm suddenly helping everyone out. They're not supporting me. That was my first stop on this journey, is like, oh no, I don't want to take advantage of anyone. Business is extractive. I just need to be there for them and they'll reciprocate. That's not true, actually. That's a really good way to burn out again. The way I'm looking at it now is it's a filter. So I am who I am. There's a filter of sensitivity, and there's a business filter, and there's all these filters that I uniquely have that I'm putting over the overlay of my interactions with others. There's also the interlay of who I am to them. And that's important. It's important to have that boundary. Who am I to you? My sensitivity on top of that, and my business always there, right? That's my baby, if it will. People say it's your baby all the time. And so it's very much that skill of bringing sensitivity after who you are to them, and being who they need you to be to them first, then the sensitivity. That was a really important, it sounds really technical and really nerdy, but for me, that has been a big unlock of we're not just human to human. I wish that was how we could do things, but I'm the CEO of a company. That has to come first, then the sensitivity, right? So keeping that boundary doesn't come naturally to me. And I actually thought it was evil and a power imbalance or something just icky, but it's important. And so accepting that has been a very, part of my journey, I guess.
Yeah. And I'm curious because I know your human design chart, actually. We did a
You
reading
did a
together.
great job. I loved it.
It was so fun. And there's a lot in your energy that really values community and connecting people together. So it's really no surprise that you've created this amazing community in House of Peregrine. But also in your energy, besides the sensitivity, there is this need to just be on your own, like, and just have your alone time to discharge. So how do you protect your energy when you're running a business that is so community focused?
Yeah. And as you saw, my chart is full of a lot of contradictions. And so, first of all, accepting those. And it's actually the hardest part about that is being a mom, not being a business owner. And so being a mom, actually, again, that entitlement to my own space. When you have 3 toddlers, was a journey on its own. People telling you you're selfish, or you're even telling yourself you're selfish, telling yourself, why do I need this? So how do I do it? I accept it's something I need, and that it's just, it just is now. And I explained to my kids, I just need to read by the fire. Can you snuggle with me? You can't talk to me. And so we have language for this in the company and in my family, where mommy is sensitive. So are you. Like, we're built differently. We have a lot of neurodiversity in our family that's highly masked. And so learning that is a game changer for kids. Why you get to take your space. You don't want to have a play date every day? Great. There's language around that. You need time. So it's really being in touch with and accepting your unique needs and communicating to them with those of you who are closest to you and having them accept it as well. There's not one model of a human. Luckily, we're learning that. There's not one human mother. We're learning that. But I think that process of identification, acceptance, communicating it to others and having them accept who you are uniquely is, it sounds basic again. It was a long process, but that's how I do it. I communicate with people who will accept my unique blueprint and mark in the world.
Yeah, and your boundaries as well, right? And
Boundaries, yeah.
It's such a powerful model to teach your children this as well, that they can also tune into themselves and be like, what do I actually want? Maybe I don't want this right now. Maybe I need this right now. And that's all okay because there's no wrong boundary, right? Like, it's just based on what you need and how you're feeling. So to be able to honor that as it changes day by day it's really powerful.
For me, it's not only a boundary, it's your need is so important in the world because it will change the world. If you identify what's inside of you, it will fundamentally change the world for everyone for the better. That's a deep belief of mine, that if sensitive people were to tune in and express their needs, the entire world will change, literally overnight. That's a deep belief I have. And so training people to be the same type of person is actually a lot of violence for the world and for the individual. So I think I just deeply believe that now, but that's been a long journey of, not only is it not unfair, it's unjust, it's violence, it's actually depleting the world of what is needed, actually.
Yeah. It takes a lot of energy to not be yourself, and to try to be someone else, and to constantly self-abandon as well is
Well, and
been
how you
there.
not bring your gifts. That's the third tragedy. That there's all this other stuff, but the third or fourth tragedy is you're not bringing what you need to the world, and that is what makes me want to cry.
Yeah. Yeah, because just being who you are can change someone's life, can inspire people, it's really, really powerful.
Can bring new businesses into the world, can nurture the people who need to bring businesses into the world. We don't talk about enough how leadership happens at every level.
That's
Leadership
true.
is following. Following is leadership. It's just the partner to the leadership. And women who want to do that are massively valuable in the world. We don't always have to be the figurehead, but we do need to register it as a valuable. That is where we've gone wrong. It's not the person who's leading that's the most important. They are
No.
just the one in front.
Yeah.
And so I think not recognizing the value of every kind of person in the world, it's a disservice to humanity.
It is. I completely agree. And so the more people we can get connected to their authentic self, the better it's going to be.
Yeah, of course. And so that's again, these convictions get me up in the morning.
I love it. What advice would you give to sensitive, intuitive entrepreneurs who want to build something meaningful? Maybe they've started, maybe they haven't, but they're afraid of that burnout. They're afraid of the visibility and showing up and being seen as a leader, and the uncertainty that comes with creating something when you don't know the end point.
I think my biggest advice would be to start with your shadows, because there's a shadow side. There's a fear to everything you think is good about you. And if you know that better than anybody, then that gives you a lot of power. And so I learned the shadow side of my passion and love is anger.
And that was a really powerful thing. So I know now when I'm angry, that is something I love. But before, I just thought I was angry all the time. The world wasn't built for me. And so I think when we're sensitive and we have had a lot of trauma, people misunderstand us our whole lives. I think it's really easy to get caught up on what you don't want, what you are afraid of, and letting that hold you back. And I would just really love for sensitive people to get through that faster, identify that faster, know there's evil in everybody, including in you. Get to know your demons, and that will make you go farther faster than anything I've ever learned, because it is really hard to grow up feeling misunderstood by even yourself. That's
Yes.
really, really hard, and that's okay to be angry about. But what I would love for people to do is recognize that and move through it faster, just by not thinking they're all good either.
Yeah.
And it sounds really, really silly, but it's what helped me the most.
Yeah. Embrace your humanness, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, the messy. That's just, the more we make peace with that, the less that behavior comes out in extremes.
Yeah. And in
Yeah.
shadowy ways. And that's how my first foray into business was. Luckily it was like short-lived, and I just started recognizing I'm trying to do the right thing all the time because I don't want to hurt anybody, because I was hurt.
Mhm.
And then that didn't help anybody.
No. I think it's really valuable advice because it's not something people talk about a lot. And yet it's that deep inner work that will bring you forward in every area of your life. And when we don't do that inner work, that's how we hold ourselves back. This has been such a great conversation. Thank you so much, Mickelle. How can people connect with you, connect with House of Peregrine?
So you can connect with me on LinkedIn, so Mickelle Weber. You can connect with House of Peregrine at House of Peregrine on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, our website, houseofperegrine.com. And there you can write for us, you can create with us, you can come to events, you can do a lot of things on there. So just check it out. If you are in that space, this is a great place for you.
Yes, I agree, because I'm part of this space and I really enjoy it as well. Thank you so much.
You too. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed our show. For the latest insights on living internationally, join us at houseofperegrine.com to find out how you can connect with our community. Let's craft our life story with intention together.